What's up, YouTube? Team Movies here. With today being the 15th anniversary of the passing of comedy superstar John Ritter, and since it's his birthday next week, next Tuesday, but I'm not really going to be making much videos next Tuesday because I got a couple of stuff to do on that day. So I decided to do my top 10 favorite John Ritter projects today instead of doing it next Tuesday. Because, I mean, I've always liked Ritter's work. The guy's a great comedy. He was a great comedy superstar. He's done, like, so many movies. He's been in so many TV shows, which is why I'm counting TV on this list as well. So, with that being said, here is my top 10 favorite John Ritter projects. Okay? Alright. Coming in at number 10 is going to be the film called The Dreamer of Oz. Now, The Dreamer of Oz stars John Ritter as famed Wizard of Oz writer author L. Frank Baum, and it's pretty much like a docudrama that chronicles the life of Baum, and it pretty much uses Baum's profound imagination to create one of the timeless classics of children's literature. And his wife in this is of course played by Natalie O'Toole, who I thought Natalie O'Toole was pretty good here too. The movie was actually a TV movie, not really a theatrical release. But I think John Ritter played the role of L. Frank Baum really well. And granted, I never really read the Wizard of Oz books, but I have, of course, seen the movie. And I mean, Wizard of Oz is just a timeless classic, and it really went on in really good depth of who L. Frank Baum was, and all if you guys never seen The Dreamer of Oz, it's a really nice little film. And John Ritter, I think it's probably one of his finest performances. And it really went on in depth of his career and his imagination of bringing, pretty much, writing the Wizard of Oz book and all. And it's a really good one. Definitely go check out Dreamer of Oz if you guys haven't seen it. Alright. Coming in at number 9. My number 9 pick is going to be a film called Stay Tuned. This is actually a guilty pleasure of mine. The film stars this suburban American couple, named Roy and Helen Namba. John Ritter, of course, plays the husband, while Mick and Morty star Pam Dauber, plays his wife. And so Roy has became a couch potato, and he spends his time mainly watching TV. And Helen wants to ditch, pretty much wants him to get rid of the remote and quit watching TV. And so when this thematic guy named Spike, played by Jeffrey Jones, offer Roy a deal on the ultimate satellite TV system, Roy pretty much doesn't really realize that he just signed up so, and he ends up pretty much being stuck in the television, and his family and his friends, really had to try to find a way to get him out. And I mean, it's kind of like a really messed up version of the Cable Guy, really, if you want to look at it that way. I mean, the film also features classic Looney Tunes cartoons by Chuck Jones. The one who plays John Ritter's kids was pretty good. I mean, Pam Dauber. I mean, of course she was Mindy on Mork and Mindy. And did I accidentally say Rick and Morty? I meant to say Mork and Mindy. But anyway, yeah. Stay tuned. It's kind of pretty good. I mean, it's really funny. It's more of a guilty pleasure of mine, but it's actually really decent. If you guys never seen Stay Tuned, it's probably one of the most original concepts of the 90s. And I mean, the guy ends up getting pretty much stuck into TV shows like Northern Exposure, I Love Lucifer, and of course I Love Lucifer is a play on I Love Lucy, so there's that. But yeah, definitely go check out Stay Tuned if you guys never seen it. It's a good one. Alright. Coming in at number 8. Now, he doesn't really have that big of a part in this film. He's only in a couple of scenes, and that's really it. but I quite loved his scenes in this movie. So my number 8 pick is going to Bad Santa. Now, John Ritter have worked with Billy Bob Thornton once before on Sling Blade, but I gotta say, my favorite collaboration between Doran and John Ritter has got to be Bad Santa. I mean, in it, John Ritter plays like sad to say, Bad Santa was actually John Ritter's last film before he passed away. And John Ritter plays like the mall manager, Bob Chapaska here, and it's I quite like the John Ritter's expression in a couple of scenes because there's like a couple of scenes where like one scene where Billy Bob Thornton is having a little fun with this woman in a dressing room, and he doesn't get mad or anything. He just how like when in American Pie when Eugene Levy's character catches his son doing awkward stuff. That's kind of John Ritter's expression does, and I quite love Bad Santa. I mean, it's definitely one of my favorite Christmas movies there is. You know, that should say you had both two late amazing stars like John Ritter and Bernie Mac together in this. I admit, when I rewatch this movie and see Bernie Mac and John Ritter sharing scenes together, I admit I tear up a little bit because sad to say John Ritter and Bernie Mac are no longer with us anymore. But yeah, I really quite liked John Ritter's role in this, and yeah, if you guys still never seen Bad Santa, it's kind of a Christmas classic right there. All right, coming in at number 7. Again, this is not really much of a big role for him, but when you think of genre, you don't really always think of horror or slasher films. But that's where we got at number 7. My number 7 pick is going to Bride of Chucky. I mean, like I said, John Ritter's role in this is not that big. Because, spoiler alert for Bride of Chucky, John Ritter ends up getting killed off in the film. Now, in it, he of course plays the father of Katherine Heigl's character, Jade, who ends up, eloping with her boyfriend named Jesse, played by Nick Stiba. And they decide to end up pretty much take Tiffany's daughters to pretty much like to a gravesite and all. And of course, Jade and Jade's dad, played by John Ritter, doesn't approve of that. So he pretty much ends up sneaking into Jesse's truck, and he ends up finding Chucky and Tiffany there. And when Tiffany and Chucky sees him, they kind of mess him up a little bit. Like they pretty much nail him if you want to be frank. I mean, if you guys seen Bride Chucky, he ends up getting nailed in the film. And, there's even a really funny Hellraiser reference. Because when John Ritter's character gets the nails in his face, Chucky turns around being like, why does that look so familiar? That's a Hellraiser reference. I mean, I know Bride Chucky gets crapped on a lot, but I don't care what anyone says. I freaking love Bride Chucky. And I quite like to see a Chucky too, but John Ritter's not in that one. And, it was pretty weird, odd thing to see John Ritter in a slasher horror film like Bride Chucky. Granted, he's no stranger to the horror genre, because I'm going to get you that later on. But, yeah, Bride Chucky, it's awesome. If you guys never had a chance to check out Bride Chucky yet, it's more of a guilty pleasure of mine. I really freaking love this movie. Alright. Coming in at number 6. Now, this is sadly was John Ritter's final TV show before he passed. But my number 6 favorite is going to 8 Separate Rules in dating my teenage daughter. I can never really remember the full line really. But 8 Separate Rules, I mean, I really love the show. It was a really funny sitcom at the time. I mean, I mean, in the show, it starred John Ritter and Kathy Sigo, who of course is best known for Married with Children fame. And in a alright, sorry about that, guys. Anyway, as I'm saying, on Ace of Rules, John Ritter and Married with Children star Kathy Sigo plays like this middle class parents named Paul and Kate Hansen who are raising their three adult teen children, played by Kelly Kuoko, way before Big Bang Theory, as well as Amy Davidson and Martin Spanders. They all play the teenage kids, Bridget, Carrie, and Roy Hansen. And the series actually ran from 2002 to 2005, but Sean Ritter actually tragically passed away while in the middle of the show, and they actually ended up having to kill off his character, and he ended up, getting replaced by David Spade and James Garner. So, I mean, if I do like a list of saddest sitcom moments, Eight Simple Rules when John Ritter's character Paul Hennessy passes away, that's definitely gonna be in that list because I'm not gonna lie, I really teared up. I teared up a little bit when Paul Hennessy passed away because sadly John Ritter actually passed away as well, and it was a really sad moment. And like when the characters was like tearing up and all, that was literally real tears. That was not even acting right there. You can easily tell that. And Ace Simple Rules, it wasn't the same after John Ritter passed and all, but I still quite liked David Spade and James Garner when they appeared. But sad to say, it didn't really last long because I guess when John Ritter passed away, the ratings tumbled. But I still really quite got kicked out of Ace Simple Rules. I mean, if you guys never seen Ace Simple Rules, they show reruns once in a while. It's really funny. Definitely check that show out. But yeah, it's the John Ritter passing was a really tragic moment on the show. All right, coming in at number 5 is going to be the funny classic comedy Noises Are. Starring the likes of, I mean, you got people like John Ritter, Christopher Reeve, Cara Burnett was in this. I mean, some really great cast members here. And the film is, of course, based on this. It's actually based on a book, and it's directed by Peter Badakovsky. I think I can never really pronounce Peter's last name that well, but he's a cool director. He did Last Picture Show. I mean, I quite like him as a director. But anyway, in this film, it stars Michael Caine as this director named Lloyd Fellows, who's like assigned to bring the successful British sex boss named Nothing On to Broadway in America. And so, like, Lloyd ends up putting on a cast through their paces, and one of them is John Ritter's character, Gary Lee Juni. I can never really pronounce the character's last name that well. Who's actually a ongoing feature actor in it. You've got Cara Burnett, who plays Dottie Oli, who's a fading theatrical star. Christopher Reeve, of course, plays a handsome, lead man who demands to know the motivation behind every scene. You have Nicola Sheridan, who plays like the leading lady here. You had Marilu Henner, who's pretty much like the second female lead here. I mean, Noises Off is, it's not really my favorite comedy of the year or anything. I know John Capiat, like, he has this in his top 10 favorite comedies of all time. I don't really think it's one of the greatest comedies of all time, but I still get a kick out of Noises Off. I just love the cast members in this. The movie does have some really funny moments here. All the cast has great on-screen chemistry. I mean, if you guys never seen Noises Off, it's a really good one. And not to mention, they have a Broadway show of it, too, so there's that as well. Alright. Now, coming in at number... Alright. All right, coming in at number 4 is the original It. Now, of course, in that John Ritter plays, plays Ben, who's who's one of the loser club all grow up, and this time around Ben is an architect, and I really quite like John Ritter as the adult Ben. I mean, I thought John Ritter really played that role well. I mean, this time around he was a bit of more of a douchier than like the new Ben is. I mean, the new Ben was cool in the recent remake was cool. But I think John Ritter's Ben was more douchier than the new one. But yeah, I really quite like John Ritter here. I mean, or the other adult losers club is pretty good too. Like you had Annette O'Toole, who of course worked with John Ritter before on Dreamer Laws. Harry Anderson from L.A. Law, of course, played the adult Richie. You had Michael Ryan as the adult Tom Rogan. You had, of course, you had Dennis Christopher as the adult Eddie. Richard Mazer played the adult Stan. I mean, some really great cast members. I mean, the cast, the ones who play the adult Lucius Club in the recent they're pretty good too. But I still quite like the cast the adult Lucius Club in the original It. And of course, you had Tim Curry back as Pennywise. I mean, granted, this was a miniseries, so it's very different than the recent It sequel. But I still got a kick out of the original It. I mean, if you watch both parts, it's gonna be 4 hours long. So, yeah. But I still quite like it. And if you guys never, yeah, if you guys never really seen the 1990s It, it's a really good one. And John Ritter was really great in that. And it was pretty cool seeing kind of like how I said with Bride of Chucky, it was cool, but a little weird seeing Ritter in a horror flick. But anyway, all right. My number 3 favorite Ritter film is going to Problem Child 2. I mean, of course, this is the sequel to 1990's Problem Child, and Problem Child 2 got released the same year I was born in 1992, and I really love Problem Child 2. I mean, this time around, you got John Ritter as back as Ben Healy, while Michael Oliver plays his son Junior, who's kind of a psychopath, if you will. I mean, Junior is pretty much a character. Is kind of the reason why lots of people don't really adopt kids as much as they should. But anyway, and this time around, Ben and Junior wants to move to a new town for like a fresh start. But while they're there, Ben is getting hit on, and he ends up getting go on dates and all, and Junior does not really like that, so he kind of messes up on his relationship stuff. And and this time around, you got a girl, someone who's a little girl who's actually like a female version of Junior named Trixie, who pretty much Junior feels like he ended up meeting his match, and then you had Amy Asbeck as his nurse, who ends up getting smitten with Ben, but he's about to tie the knot with this not so great rich woman named Wanda and all, and Junior does not like that as well. I mean, and you got Gilbert Godfrey back in this. I love Gilbert Godfrey. This has some really funny moments, like the pizza moment. Of course, the puke moment with the amusement park. I mean, Problem Child 2, it's such a funny one. I mean, I even probably think it's actually funnier than the first Problem Child. But if you've never seen Problem Child 2, it's really great. And they also did a third one, but I did not. I would like the third one. Yeah. I mean, the third one actually had the dude who played the Greatest American Hero in the third one. But yeah, the third one was not that great. All right. My number 2 favorite genre. My number 2 favorite genre project is going, obviously, to the classic TV sitcom Three's Company. I mean, okay, I'm not gonna say. You guys know the theme song. Yes, I mean, that's probably one of my favorite TV's sitcom theme songs there is. I love that Three's Company theme song. Of course, you got this character named Jake Tripper, played by John Ritter, who ends up going. He ends up pretending to be gay so he could become roommates with these two ladies. Of course, Joyce DeWitt plays Janet Wood, while Suzanne Summer plays Chrissy Snow. And you also had Don Knotts here as Mr. Furl. I love Don Knotts here. Of course, the apartment complex is owned by Stanley Roper, played by Norman Fell, as well as Helen Roper, played by Audrey Lindley. And I mean, this is of course a classic sitcom. It has a really classic bar here. I like the chemistry with of course the chemistry with Ritter, DeWitt, and Summers is iconic. It has an iconic theme song. I mean, it's a really great one. If if you guys never seen Three's Company by now, it's one of the most classic TV sitcoms of the '70s. I believe it only ran for I think 5 or 6 or probably could have been 8 seasons. Can't remember how many seasons it ran for, but it had some pretty decent. I mean, it was a real big hit from during the 1970s and 80s and all, and this is also the show that really introduced John Ritter to the public eye, and this was actually the show that really made people know who John Ritter was, and John Ritter is great. Like, most people probably have this as their number one favorite, but I quite like number one slightly more than Three's Company. But anyway, my number one pick, I'm not gonna lie, my number one pick is the original Problem Child. Problem Child is freaking great. This movie has a 0% Rotten Tomatoes, by the way. I mean, I I just don't get it. I quite love Problem Child. I mean, how the heck does this movie have 0% is beyond me. I know it's not a film for everyone, but come on, Problem Child is awesome. You got Michael Oliver as the not so great child Junior. You also had Amy Asbeck, who by the way was actually married to John Ritter. I almost forgot about that. And Amy Asbeck actually played John Ritter's wife in this one, who ends up not being that great throughout. Then Amy Asbeck ends up returning for the sequel, where she plays someone who's a little nicer. So I kind of find that to be a little funny to see Amy Asbeck in two different characters in the sequels. But anyway, yeah. And this also has some really funny lines and moments. I mean, you even got Michael um, Kramer himself from Seinfeld. Michael Richards was in this. You even had the late great Jack Warden, who of course played Big Ben Haley, who and Jack Warden ended up appearing in both Prom Child films. I think he appeared in part 3 too. I can't remember, but and not to mention Gilbert Gottfried. Everyone will say their favorite Gilbert Gottfried role is as Iago from Aladdin. I don't care what anyone says. My favorite when I think of Gilbert Gottfried, I literally think of him as a Mr. Peabody from the Prom Child movies. I mean, not so long ago, it was announced that NBC was going to do like a reboot TV series of Prom Child, which never really went anywhere. But I actually literally said that if they reboot Prom Child, I don't care who they get to star in the reboot. Do me a favor and just get Gilbert Gottfried back. Gilbert Gottfried back as Mr. Peabody is all I need. But yeah, Prom Child. I just quite love Prom Child. It's kind of a child. I remember watching this as a kid, quite really loving it, and I still find these shows funny as an adult now, and not to mention Prom Child was directed by Dennis Dugan, who also directed lots of Adam Sandler movies like Big Daddy, Grown Ups, Happy Gilmore, and all. I mean, yeah, if you guys literally never seen Prom Child 1 or 2, for that matter, definitely give them a go. There are some really funny classic comedies right there. But that's pretty much it. Let me do the quick rundown. 10. The Dreamer of Oz. 9. Stay Tuned. 8. Bad Santa. 7. Bride of Chucky. 6. 8 Separate Rules. 5. Noises Off. 4. Ed. 3. Problem Child 2. 2. Three's Company. 1. Problem Child. Wait, let me just wait for this truck to pass by. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, now John Ritter has been in loads of other stuff over the years as well. Let me pull up his credit list. Of course, he was in Sling Blade. I love Sling Blade. It's been a while since I've seen Sling Blade, though. I gotta rewatch that movie again. There's also the film, there's the thriller Panic with John Ritter and William H. Macy. That was pretty good. He also landed the voice as Tyro in Clifford the Big Red Dog, as well as the Clifford movie. He was in the movie Manhood, Tadpole. He was in this film called Nickelodeon. He was in the Barefoot Executive. I mean, he's been in some really good stuff, and gone way too soon. Rest in peace, John Ritter. You're definitely missed. But let me leave it to you guys. What are some of your favorite John Ritter projects? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This here is C-Movie signing off.